if I think about the way I play bass, and you know this too.
Yeah.
If there's one guy who's kind of on my level, it's Bootsy.
You've said that so many times.
Yeah.
And people have asked you that.
Well, a lot of people, after they watch you come on play,
they say that, I know.
They say, for a power pop band, you kind of got a Bootsy feel.
Well, it's a lot to do with the outfits you choose on stage.
It's a lot to do with that, yeah, and the acid I take and the fact that I think I'm an alien.
Yeah, the sunglasses you wear with like stars and stuff on.
Yep,
shaped.
100%.
Yep.
You know me. That's my vibe.
Yeah.
So that was so funny listening to the Righteous Brothers Rock and Roll Heaven. So we're at welcome to Impossible Way of Life, guys. This is a Patreon episode. And, we know the patrons are there. They're loud, they're proud in the Discord. And But if you're listening because you have the codes to Zion, consider supporting our podcast through Patreon. And then you get this extra bonus episode every week that you're listening to right now anyway. But you'll pay for it, so you'll feel better about it. Because you'll be listening, you won't have that twitchy feeling inside of you that the NSA could be coming down on you. Remember those old VHSs that had that piracy thing at the start? If you were watching a pirated VHS, there was always the fear that they might somehow be watching you.
FBI warning.
Yep. Consider what I'm saying an FBI warning. But it's just a warning to be a cool person.
Yeah,
that's
true.
all we're warning you to do is be hip.
Yeah.
Be part of this. And
because I know if I know anything about you, James,
which you do,
I know this, and those of you listening, if you're not really a patron, it's probably none of you, but if you are, I know that James, people have been walking down the street, and they've been like, "Hey, IWOL, nice man,"
and I think a Bootsy as well, but
and he'll just turn around, and you'll just be like, "Are you a patron?"
Yeah,
and
I have actually done this.
You have done this. I remember that. It's and then you're like, they're deer in the headlights. And I'll tell you one other thing. You might say yes.
Yeah.
But James will pull his phone out right there and check out if you actually are. So you better watch out if you pretend to be in the green room. And
have you ever?
It's, you know what it's like? It's like if you sneak backstage.
It is. It's
you don't have an all access
want you
pass.
There. No one wants you there.
Who's this guy? Is he your friend?
Yeah, it is that.
And it's and you just kind of the bouncer had his back turned and you slipped.
It's
back
exactly
there.
The same.
Grab a beer out of the band's fridge.
Brutal.
You're one of those people.
Brutal. Yeah. You ever seen, there's a James Ellroy famous interview with him at some bookstore or something.
The Scientology guy?
No, that's L. Ron Hubbard, I think.
Oh, okay. Right.
James Ellroy wrote LA Confidential, amongst other things. He's a real psychopath. There's this great interview with him, and this is the kind of attitude and energy you're going to get from me, where he says he's in a VHS store, and a lady comes up to him, an old lady, and says, "Oh my God, you're James Ellroy. I just love LA Confidential. I love that movie. And Guy Pearce, he's so good. And I just love it." And he says to her, "Okay, lady, have you read the book?" And she says, "No, I haven't." And he says, "Then what the fuck are you doing talking to me?"
That's it.
That's my energy. You meet me on the street and you're not a patron, it's going to get Elroyian.
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah. There is another Elroy, though, isn't there? That's related to something of a kind of religious bent.
I remember when we went to see the not to dox him, but it was really funny when we went to the Cutworm show.
Yeah.
I remember there was a beautiful moment after the show that we were standing around with the whole band, in a circle.
Yeah.
And it was like a support group for us. And they were standing around. Yeah, because they were like, "You guys, we just love the pod.
Felt great.
We're all standing around." All the fellas.
Yeah.
And then they said, I think John Andrews said, he turned to us and he said, "We're all patrons.
Mm-hmm.
We're all patrons." And I turned to Max, the lead singer, and I said, "You a patron too, Max?"
No.
And he was like, no. And I went over to the merch table and I just grabbed one of his LPs and I said, "I'm taking this."
Yep. And I took a t-shirt.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And there's nothing he could say about it.
No. The thing is that I've been noticing recently, and it's freeing, Johnny. It's a freeing feeling. Is that there's a lot we're all struggling. We've talked about this on the podcast. Not just us, musicians, the community. the journalists,
the society,
the labels, society at large.
Yeah.
Okay? And what I'm noticing is sometimes on this podcast, we've seen it. People will come on, people will want to be part of it. Yeah. We'll want them to be part of it. I love all these people. And yet they are so protective of their own, like maybe it's social media or maybe it's their own identity and brand, which is cool. You can be protective of your brand, I suppose, that they gatekeep. And it's as sick as this. They're gatekeeping the followers they have.
Yeah.
We're a follower-based society. And I want nothing to do with that. I love everybody who's come on the podcast. I will love everybody who's listening, even the people who are leeching beers off us in the digital green room.
Yeah, I love them all.
I love you, but just be part of it. That's what I'm saying.
It speaks volumes when we have people on this show. They do the show, they talk, and
they want to be part of it. They're enjoying it.
We promote whatever their endeavor is.
Yeah.
And then they don't post about it on Instagram. I just find that interesting.
Yeah.
What are you so protective of?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, unfortunately, it's as simple as followers, like a number. They're protective of their number that they have.
Yeah.
And I think that
it's probably all they have, those people, to be fair.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, I just think in those situations, and this follows and tracks if you're listening to this for free, just like be part of it.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's not all they have. They're just gatekeeping their followers.
I'm not going to Elroy you really in public. I would never do that.
No.
But just like come in. The water's warm. It's nice. It's like just be part of something, and we'll be part of what you're part of, and we'll all be here together. And there's a beautiful sense of freedom that you get when you extend your hand to your co-combatants in this crazy world, which is going down the toilet, in an industry that's going down the toilet. We know this. We all know this together. And I would go as far as to say, if you don't pay to listen to this, you're as bad as Daniel Ek.
Pretty much.
You're on his team.
Also, speaking of that, there's a line getting drawn in the sand right now.
It's
happening before our very eyes every day.
Yeah.
That it's people that want to be connected to other people.
Yes. Real people.
And real people who are interested in music, art, spending time with people face to face, supporting other communities, engaging with other humans, and people that are more than happy to keep their entire life online and being sort of just, their hand held by apps and AI to take them through their life in this sort of like, vapid existence.
Yeah.
And I see it every day more and more and more that the line is being drawn, us and them, basically.
Right.
And all I will say is
Waters energy, Floyd energy.
He was onto something, I think.
Oh, he was onto something.
And what I'll say is, if you make a decision to to join a community of humans that are interested in something, you won't regret that.
No, you won't.
You won't.
We're a pro-human podcast.
Yeah. AI couldn't do this podcast.
We're a pro-human podcast. Yet. I'm sure someone who pays for the top tier of ChatGPT could put us in it, and they could do a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, it'd be really funny to hear that.
Yeah, it would. I don't know if I want to hear that.
I'm not sure I want to hear that, yeah.
So it's funny.
Anyway, so there you go. Yeah.
I was listening. I was going to say at the start there, throwing on Rock and Roll Heaven. That song, often can get me fired up. But I'm in the middle of starting to release a record with Yukon Blonde that's, a meticulously put together power pop record.
Rollout's looking good so far.
Thank you. Roll on the evening, frankly.
Yeah,
I might,
let's roll for freedom.
You know what I might do? Let's roll. Yeah, exactly. It's very similar. It's a kind of 9/11 energy to me. I mean, it's that critical. I like to think that if I was on a plane that was Spotify and it was taking down music, I would be the Let's Roll guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, in many ways, we are the Let's Roll of the podcast world.
We are. Yeah, we are.
Not the song, but the motif, the idea of it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So anyway,